All right. Well, I guess without further ado, we will get started. So, again, everyone, thank you so much for being on here. My name is Nick. I am the founder of Wooden Journey. I am from the United States in New York, or New York, depending on the area of where you may be from if you are from New York. But I just wanted to take a minute and say thank you very much to everyone for taking your very important time to listen to this presentation. It truly means the world to me. This is actually one of my first presentations, so a little nervous, but I'm excited to show you guys what we have in store from Wooden Journey. I'm excited to tell you about why I started my company and what my company is setting out to do. So again, I really appreciate everyone, and I hope everyone, as well as their families and friends, are well and safe during this very insane, weird, and you know, life-changing year for many people. So again, my best wishes goes out to everyone here, and of course, wilderness as well. But so I guess I'll get started now. So again, my name is Nick. I'm the founder of a company called Wooden Journey that I founded last year in 2019 on Earth Day, the one and only. It's the only day to found a company that that's what I truly believe in. But my company is on a mission to planting 1 trillion trees slash native fauna seeds across international borders across the world in order to help curb climate change, as well as to revitalize important ecosystems and to further more on conservation as a whole. So I know you may at this point already be thinking, wow, this guy is, totally out of his mind that he thinks that he can plant this many trees across the world. How on earth are you going to be able to do that? But you may be a little right on me being a little crazy on that, but this is truly my dream, and this is truly what my company is setting out to do. The way that we're going to be doing it, first, I'm going to kind of give an intro to how I started Wooden Journey, and then I'm going to break down the how. So, again, like I said, we're on a mission to plant 1 trillion trees slash native fauna, and we are focusing on the reforestation and tree part at the moment. But we do want to start scaling to not only trees, but but not just to do that, but plants, corals, kelp, all different kinds of plants that are across the world in their native habitats in order to really just revitalize and strengthen those crucial ecosystems in order to not only help climate change, but in order to also help all of the incredible animals that call these beautiful ecosystems home. We have to be the ones that speak for them, since they are unable to really communicate with us. And as I'm sure everyone that is listening right now understands, we're in such a crucial time in terms of climate change, of just being climate week. In my home state of New York, one of the biggest billboards in our country, right down in Times Square, I believe it was, had a countdown that we have 7 years to really act in order to not only stop the inevitable at that point trend of global warming and climate change, but we are also facing a massive 1 million species extinction that's been written in numerous journals now. So it's just really an important, crucial time, as everyone here knows, that we really need to focus and really join everyone together in order to stop this issue. And that was really step one with what I wanted to do with Wooden Journey. So tying that in, one thing that I was doing, I want to say about 2 years ago, after I really started just educating and teaching myself all of the problems that are happening across the world, was I was just sitting on my couch one day. This was me right after I graduated college, the College of Brockport, and I was just thinking one day, I'm like, there's so many issues going on. After I just educated myself, it didn't take much, just a couple quick Google searches to kind of see what was going on. And I'm going to be honest, I was sitting there pretty hopeless, and I felt very defeated, because I was just one person out of the billions on this planet that, was seeing all the things that was going wrong. And, we're losing billions of trees every single year. The climate continues to warm. We're losing the Arctic Circle, the wildfires that are continuing across this planet. I was feeling very depressed and very sad. And I was just, sitting to myself on my couch one late night, and I was just thinking, what can I do? What can one guy that cares about this issue so dearly, and it just touches me and, just who I am so fully, what can I do in order to really make a difference? And I was trying to find organizations. I know there's incredible nonprofits out there that are doing incredible work in different areas, and those are crucial to ecosystem and climate change, mitigation. But I felt that there wasn't really one clear organization that really had the lead on curbing this, probably the biggest problem that we have ever had to date in history. And, obviously there's many problems that have been going on, but this is something that just impacts obviously everyone across the globe, no matter, your ethnic background or, wherever you may reside from or nationality. This is something that's going to affect every single person in this world and all of our kids, So I was just sitting there and I'm like, I know deep down that there are millions, if not billions of people that care about this issue, just like myself. But there's no way that I can be the only person on this planet that cares so much about this issue that, feels like they can't do anything because, you hear these horrible and drastic headlines in the news, how like Amazon is on fire, California has unprecedented wildfires right in my own country. Australia lost, what was it, 1 billion animals in one fire season. And those are just going to strengthen the drier that the climate gets, year after year. That's what we're looking at, guys. It's awful. So I just knew, I'm like, there's no way that I could be the only person that cares about this. So, as my company is really focusing on just trees and reforestation right now, which is obviously extremely important, especially for the wilderness, I knew that I really wanted to take the next step forward and focus on community first in 2019 for Wooden Journey, in order to really say, this isn't just, a company that's trying to make a profit. This is a company for good, that in order to scale, I wanted to be able to unite people across the world through, social media. I knew that was a powerful tool that, everyone has at their disposal these days, pretty much. Many, many people across the world have the internet and, access to a phone where they can just follow me, on the internet. So I just wanted to make sure that people who cared had access to an organization that they could follow and join and be a part of a community that deeply cared just as much as they did. And that's what I set out first. I really wanted to make Wooden Journey sort of a proof of concept and really just focus on making that community. And I'm very proud to say that, over the course of just about 1 year now of hard work, from our foundation of Wooden Journey, we have just about 80,000 members already across the globe, across social media. We're on LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, pretty much you name it, we're on there. So, we call our community the Tree Fam. So if you guys want to join, I'll definitely show you, one of our Instagram pages, our Instagram page, so you guys can check that out and, join if you'd like. But we have a very receptive and engaging community that, everyone can rely on each other, and everyone can really feel that, they're a part of this mission with us. It's not just, a company that's trying to sell an item. This is a company that's trying to unite people across the globe. And we're doing so every single day, and we're growing every single day, that, are focusing on reforestation and, carbon sequestration, which is obviously the biggest driver of climate change. So, and that honestly is the reason why I focused, specifically on trees first. Obviously trees are something that many people across the world can relate to. So they have that own relation to the tree itself, whichever tree or species it may be. But it's, the power of the tree is just so important because, a lot of people think it's like, a tree's a tree. That's great. It gives us oxygen and everything. But obviously, as many of you may know, it's so much more than that. When you're planting a tree, but you're also planting the homes for animals that are going to call that tree home. And the more trees that you plant, the more that you're, going to help many different species in those habitats. So I wanted to focus on that just because they have such an important, role in climate change mitigation, whether it's, making the overall area more tropical, let's say in a rainforest situation, in a rainforest ecosystem. They focus on making it very dense with rain, which obviously helps stop wildfires, happen. And the more wildfires we have in the drier it gets, the more these wildfires are going to be present. So the more trees that we can plant, the wetter that a lot of climate areas and climate systems are going to get, which is going to stop more wildfires from happening that we've been seeing. So that was one reason I wanted to focus on that. But at the other side of the coin, we're also losing billions of trees every single year. So reforestation and, strengthening these ecosystems isn't enough. We also need to, it's really a double-edged sword where we obviously have to replant the areas that we've lost for whatever reason they may be, agricultural purposes, as many of you may know, but also in order to, really help climate change in terms of, tree protection. It's not just the planting, but it's also the conservation. So I'm very proud to say that Wooden Journey has not only planted so far 4,000 trees across the world, but nonprofits that we work with called the Rainforest Trust. We've also conserved 60 acres of rainforest, which comes out to about almost 3 million square feet of rainforests across the world. So we're on a mission to planting 1 trillion, but also conserving 1 million acres around the world. So we're really just getting started. So you guys are really seeing us early on. We really just hit our first year in business. So we have a lot of exciting things coming, but it's not, like I said, just replanting the world. We also have to conserve, because if we lose those areas, what is the replanting going to do? You can plant a tree, but it's going to take 30 to 40 years for that tree to mature and fully grow to the size that, that tree may have been, then the one that was next to it was cut down for. So that was really the reason why I started it. I really wanted to focus on that community organization and just gathering everyone together and uniting everyone who cared. That was really step one for my proof of concept. And, we were able to do that this year, which was extremely exciting. And next year, what we're looking to do, in order to really get these trees planted, what we're trying to focus on is implementing drone tree planting, tree drone planting technology, where every single drone across the world that we have is going to be able to redisperse millions of seeds every single day on an average of an 8 to 10 hour day. So, the amount of time it would take for people to plant, 1.3, 1.4, whichever the drone is capable of seeds per day, is pretty incredible if, you want to do that on a day-to-day basis. But if we're able to implement this drone planting technology across the world, and next year we're already locking in our first spot, then it's going to just have massive benefits for not only the climate, but for the ecosystems and the communities that call these areas home, in their financial gains as well. So, when you tie in the importance of conservation and revitalization, it's not just the climate that benefits, it's also the people that, call those areas home. So they have a livelihood and a source of income to also help with them. So these drones are incredible, pieces of technology. There's only a very small amount of companies across the world that are using this. And, as you guys may know, and I'm sure you do, there hasn't been a lot of investment in, conservation efforts across the world. So the fact that this kind of technology is becoming more accessible, it's going to be, it's going to play a very crucial role in climate change mitigation. So that's one reason why I wanted to focus on that kind of technology. So, like I said, we're working on getting our first site going next year, where every single drone is going to be capable of planting over 1 million seeds per day across, various acres. And if you guys, would like to send me an email to woodenjourneyhq@gmail.com, if you may know of anyone or any one of your coworkers, or, anyone that you may know that may want to have help on reforestation or in conservation across the world with drone technology through Wooden Journey, please send me an email, and I would love to talk more about it. So that's a little bit about, our mission and, really how we're planning on doing it. I'm very proud to say that, our community is at that level. So if you guys want to join us, I will show you a couple of our, areas where you can get behind us. We also do memberships through Wooden Journey. So one way that you guys could also support us is, I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for anyone that wanted to care. And that was one, thing that I really tried to focus on, when I started Wooden Journey a year ago, was no matter where you were in the world, you could get behind a company that was really making, a drive for change on climate mitigation. And that's what I set out to do. So, whether you're, whatever financial situation you're in, I tried to make it possible for someone who did care about this mission. So through our website, we have memberships where from $1 to, less than 1 cup of coffee every single month to $20, depending on what you're looking for, you get access to all of our podcasts. We interview professionals across the world, and in order to really just tie in not only their missions, but to also give extra, content for the people who do subscribe to Wooden Journey. So we have those podcasts going every single week now, where we interview a lot of professionals in the field. You get exclusive updates to all of our information that we release. You have instant access to a lot of, direct communication, and you also get some free merchandise through us. So one thing that I'm promoting right now that I'll show you guys is our Wooden Journey necklace, and I'll show you it on our website momentarily, where, every single necklace through our store that's purchased directly plants 10 trees across the world and also conserves 1 full acre of rainforest. But we do send a free one in the mail for anyone who subscribes, and that doesn't matter if you subscribe for $20 or you subscribe for $1. So, and going into that, I also wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the areas that we're planting in, because obviously that's important, because we are already planting. We are planting internationally already in Indonesia, Africa, the Amazon rainforest, and Australia. So I just tried to make a simple concept where, no matter which area you wanted to plant, this necklace or anything else on our store really covers everything. So this is really our main item. And this is the one that I'm trying to really promote just because of the fact that it's just kind of like the badge of honor for planting trees across the world and conserving rainforests with us. And, you do get a free one, like I said, in the mail internationally as well, if you do subscribe. So that's very fun. But we are at the 4,000 tree marker. We just hit that the other day across those areas. In Africa, we are planting in Uganda. So we're actually planting in order to not only revitalize that area, but it's also a project that's going on with them where it's going to help tie in their, economic benefits as well. So they have a livelihood from the trees that they're planting. The Amazon rainforest in Peru. And we are also getting, our boots in the ground over in Australia, after their fire season calmed down. So that one's very early on, but it is happening. And then in Indonesia, it's very exciting that we're planting over in Sumatra. But the Sumatra project is actually adjacent right to an orangutan reservation and habitat. So this is probably one of the most exciting ones for me personally, just because, it's one of my favorite animals. And what we're trying to do is plant the durian fruit tree. So basically, we're trying to invigorate the area right next to this reservation for the animals, so they can basically now have more habitat for themselves by introducing them and pretty much giving them, that attraction to, mitigate over to another side of their habitat. So it's a little bit more expanded. It was an old rubber plantation, and my friend in contact over there, Lorenz, is managing that tree planting site. So that's a very exciting thing. And I actually have a couple pictures on my website that I want to show you there as well. And we are looking to expand into other areas across the world and plant trees, before our drone program. So even if you guys may not have a spot that you know of, but you may know of somewhere that, could use reforestation, revitalization through us, through our memberships that we're doing right now, please let me know. I'm all ears to hear about any different ways that I could possibly help across the world. So without further ado, I do want to show you guys a little bit about our website because it just really helps visualize, everything for you through Wooden Journey. So just give me 1 second and I'll share my screen with everyone. And I just want to actually answer some questions right now. Hold on. This is from Amber. So the question is, thank you for your great work. Were you involved with MrBeast when he was planting last year? That's awesome that you know him. That's fantastic. If not, what do you think about these one-time events of tree planting? Incredible question. And then who usually owns the land that you plant your trees in? And another amazing question. So Amber, kudos to you for knowing MrBeast. So I actually tried to team up with Team Trees. I believe Team Trees was actually working with the Nature Conservancy where they were doing $1 per tree. But this is a very important topic to reach across because through a lot of the areas that I'm planting trees in, specifically Africa and Indonesia, we're actually planting trees for a much smaller percentage of that cost. So pretty much the industry average for everyone that's listening is about $1 per tree. If you were to plant a tree with Wooden Journey, it's about the same, but it's also going towards helping our tree planting program. So, you'll see a lot of nonprofits pretty much promoting, and Team Trees as well as doing it, $1 equals one tree. And I'm trying to keep that threshold, but I'm also trying to add that extra level for people that not only are you going to be able to plant that tree with us for that $1, but you'll also get access to our podcast. You'll also get free merchandise. You also get access to our, exclusive community. And you're also going to help us expand our tree planting drone program next year because we're really looking to scale in 2021. So that was a fantastic question. MrBeast, so everyone that knows, is a YouTube guru. I think he has around 20 to 30 million followers on there. And he also ran it on TikTok and Instagram with Team Trees. And many people donated a lot of money to him. And I think he just hit his 25th million tree through that program, and it is still running. So, I mean, anyone who is planting trees, I give a big kudos to him. I was not involved with him. I would have loved to have been able to work with him, but I think he did launch that, and it was already pretty much set with who he was working with. And then Amber, who usually owns the land that you plant your trees in? That's a great question as well. So it depends where the site is. However, most of the time it is community owned for the most part. So for example, in Africa, the group that they're, or should I say for Indonesia, sorry. For example, in Indonesia, the person who reached out to me, they found me on my TikTok page and basically just sent a quick message saying, hey, we actually just purchased a couple acres next to, we just purchased a couple acres next to orangutan reservation. And, I was wondering if you might want to help us. And, me being myself, I said, absolutely, like, please tell me, more about this, because I would love to learn more. And that's when he just really started to tell me. He's like, we just got these acres right next to an orangutan reservation, and it was an old rubber plantation. So we're trying to turn that rubber plantation that was used a lot for, agricultural purposes over to rainforest, in order to not only help the orangutans, but, different bird species, different frogs, whatever kind of animals that live over there, to really just expand their habitat. So, he hook, line, and sank me the second that he was telling me all about those benefits. So a lot of the time it is private owned land, but I do believe because one organization that I do work with is One Tree Planted, and I'm sure some of it is in some way like town, city owned land, but it's an initiative through them to also like revitalize that property. So, but great question, Amber. Great question. And I think that was the last one on here, right? Wonderful.
Thank you, Nick. There was actually also a comment from Ingrid from the Rewild Institute, which she shared in the panelist chat box. That she says it's also about the carbon sequestration, but it's also next to that, it's about the cooling capacity of the earth. And replanting all the trees is working for both. The reforestation is working for both. Also very important to note. And this is also similar to the message that Sir David Attenborough in his new documentary film showed, which I just watched last week. And it's very good to see that from many different corners of the world, similar initiatives are working towards the same goal. What do you think?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And that's, again, one reason why I'm trying to focus on community, because, for one person to feel that, they're the ones that, what can one person do in order to curb climate change? That's not the way it's going to be. This is an international problem that we all face, and a, global thing that, as difficult of a problem as it is, I try to stay optimistic on the fact that, we really do have an opportunity in this world right now to unite every single corner, no matter what country that you come from, to unite against this one issue, and, have one of the greatest stories of, humankind overcoming pretty much the biggest problem that they have. So, and that's the thing with sequestration. We really have to be able to, sequester this carbon and find a way in order to get this CO2 out of the air, because, business as usual, unfortunately, is, still going at its precedented rate. It's not really slowing down right now. Obviously, more investments need to happen with renewable technologies as well. There's many fronts that need to happen in order to, mitigate climate change. It's not just the reforestation, but one thing that I want to focus on is basically just strengthening, Earth's vitality the best that I can through a wooden journey, in order to give it its fighting chance with that. I think that I really do think that all of the ecosystems across the world are one of our best chances to, helping curb this, because at the end of the day, the problem with climate change is the earth itself. So if we can bring it back to its natural state, then I think that's one of the best shots that we have. Obviously, we have to curb our, day-to-day use of carbon dioxide and, agricultural gains and, et cetera. But I really truly believe that, through conservation of the areas that we have, and showing the importance of them standing instead of being decimated for resources, but to really sustainably use these resources in a way where it gives back to the communities. It gives them financial structure year after year. It doesn't just decimate the land once and then that's it for, corporate greed. That's not the way that we're going to have a sustainable world. And this is why we've gotten to this point. So I truly do agree with, that question, saying, and what, David Attenborough, one of the conservation legends, says. I'm a big fan of BBC, and you can't beat David Attenborough. You really can't. He's an amazing man, but it's very, very true. And that's one reason why we want to focus on the reforestation of the native fauna. It's very easy to just kind of say trees, but when you go into a forest, there's so much more than just the tree itself. Guys, if you're going on a certain nature trail, or you're, going on a hike, wherever you may be, you're not just going to see trees. You're going to see different kind of ferns. You're going to see other plants. The soil itself is going to be healthy. You're going to see all different kinds of, other fauna that are going to be in these areas. So it's important to not really just focus on the fact that a forest is very tall trees. It's obviously one of the most important parts, but you're going to see these different ferns and all these other, different plants depending on where you are. So it's strengthening the overall area of that land. It's not just planting a tree itself. And that's one reason why I'm really trying to focus on that education across the world, where, many places out there, it's like, oh, you know, we can plant a tree and trees are extremely important, but we need to be able to revitalize these ecosystems. So, and not only revitalize the ones that we've lost, but also conserve the ones that we still have, because there's so many across the world that are so crucial and so important for our needs across the world, and for all the animals and species that call, you know, our gorgeous planet home. So that was another amazing question. And if anyone else wants to take a question at me, please let me know. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds to type something in, but those are some amazing
thank you very
questions.
much. We have another 4 minutes. So if there's nobody else in the attendees who has a question, you approached the European Wilderness Society at first with a question regarding a podcast. So can you perhaps share a few more words about what you're trying to achieve with the podcast and who you try to reach?
Sure. So, you know, one thing that I want to use Wooden Journey for is pretty much like a platform for conservation purposes. And it's not really just strengthening Wooden Journey's message, but I also want to be able to, you know, through our community that we've created on social media, I also want to be able to give organizations that have incredible voices across the world pretty much another beacon and another megaphone of being heard. So one thing that I'm trying to do with my podcast is interview professionals, different nonprofits. You know, we have a couple lined up with the World Wildlife Fund, which is exciting. Youth for Climate for the, you know, Fridays for Future. We have some of those getting lined up. We just interviewed the Amazon River Dolphin Conservation Foundation director. And we also just interviewed someone from Conservation International. So it's basically just going across the world, wherever these, you know, professionals may be. And if anyone is interested in being, you know, a member or being interviewed for my podcast, please let me know, because I'd love to hear about the incredible work that you guys are doing. But we're trying to use the platform as basically a beacon for messages to be heard across the world that, you know, are also doing incredible work to just really tie in that extra community layer. So, and I also just want to show you guys quick, before we run out of time, just the Wooden Journey website. Let me know if you guys can see it here. Can you see it, Tim? Does it look good?
Yeah, we can see it.
Perfect. So yeah, when you go to woodenjourney.com, if you guys want, you know, any more information on us, this is our headline: restoring our planet one membership at a time. And you can just go right here to subscribe for Planning Monthly. And it just goes in a little bit about, you know, pretty much what I was just saying to everyone, just going into, you know, where we're planting, how we're planning on doing it, the amount of people that we have across the world. This is our intro video that unfortunately Zoom probably will not let me play. And then this for a little bit of more clarity. That's the free necklace that you guys would get for subscriptions. And this is all the benefits that come with that for that $1 subscription. Very proud to say we have 5 out of 5 review, you know, 5-star reviews on every single person who's left one. And right here under the FAQ, this is actually a picture of a tree being planted at our Indonesia tree planting site. So I wanted to make sure you guys were able to see that. And again, 1 trillion trees together. And then you guys can follow us right over here as well on our Instagram page. And it's just Wooden Journey, no spaces. So this is a little bit about what it looks like. We just kind of share more updates and, you know, some more information on climate change, and just a little bit more about, you know, our reforestation mission. So yeah.
Great. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot for another inspiring presentation. If there are any other questions for Nick, you now know where to reach him via the social media and via the internet. So thank you again, Nick, for your presentation. And then we will move on to the next presentation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming by to me. This was an amazing time. And thank you so much for everyone that's doing incredible work across the world.
You're welcome. And you continue your incredible work as well.
Thank you so much, guys. Let's make the world a greener place. Don't give up. Keep doing your amazing work.
Let's get wild, we say.
Let's get wild. Exactly.